going down in history yesterday for all the wrong reasons. Dallas set an NBA record with a 50-point lead at the half over the Clippers. That is the largest in NBA history, period. Final score, 124-73. Here's PG-13 after the game.
It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, we got our butts kicked today. But, you know, it's one game. I think we'll just take what we need to take away from today and go to the next one. We wasn't ready today. We wasn't prepared, not from the plan, but just from us being ready to go. And that's on me. And so, you know, we'll be ready for the next game.
Kendrick Perkins here now joining Dominique for this debate. Now, PG said it was just one game, but it was a really, really bad game. Perk, what does this loss say about the Clippers?
Well, it says a lot. The Clippers are like that student that always used to bring an apple to school for the teacher and sit at the front of the class but could never pass the written test. And here's why. Here's why I say this, all right? I understand, you know, in the NBA that you're going to lose games, right? You're going to lose games. But to be down 50 at the half, okay, that's one thing. To score 25 points and be down 50, that's one thing. But to not fight back is another thing. I kept watching the second half saying, okay, here go the Clippers. They're going to make a run. They're going to at least cut this to 30. And they didn't make a run. So that goes to show me two things. One, Kawhi just might be the best player in the NBA because if they're going to lose by 50 with him being out, that goes to show me how valuable he really is to the Los Angeles Clippers. Two, that they don't have a leader. And I'm not talking about Ty Lue and the coaching staff. I'm talking about a leader, a vocal leader that's in the locker room, that's on the bench. Not a leader that's going to be talking all the tough guy talk, but it's going to be holding guys accountable and saying, hey, in this 5 minutes, we about to get stops and we go on an 8-0 run. The next 5 minutes, we about to go on another 6-0 run. Let's cut into this league. Let's play possession by possession. They don't have that. And I feel like the Clippers dropped the ball in the offseason by not picking up Rajon Rondo. That was the guy that they needed. They needed a guy like him, a floor general. I love what Pat Bell brings to the table, but he's not that guy. And so what it goes to show me is that the Clippers are the true definition of front runners, not because they lost the game, but because when things get tough and they get down big, they hang their heads, and it just almost seems like they give up and not make a push to at least get back in the game and make it a competitive game. And it's a damn shame.
Yeah, I mean, to be down 50 points at half, normally the other team lets off the gas in all sports. If you're down by that much, the other team lets off the gas, and you have some personal pride, and you fight back, and you end up losing by 20 or something, and then you still get blown out, but everyone's just trying to get out, get healthy. For it to go this bad, I think it is a little bit more concerning, but I agree with what Paul George said. I just wish he hadn't said it. I think he's right. It's just one game. That's a reasonable way to take this, and there's plenty of explanations or excuses with Kawhi not playing. They had a short offseason. They have a new coaching staff. You're right about them bringing in certain people. I think Luke Kennard and Nicholas Batum may bring some value on the court, but you're right about the mentality off the court. That feels like that was the biggest concern for the Clippers last year in the bubble, was it was something mental, some sort of mental block, because it wasn't for a lack of talent that they weren't able to get past, I guess it was Denver in the bubble. It was because when they got down, they didn't bounce back. So I think that it's concerning to see that it's repeating itself, but there are normally 82 games in the season. There's 72 this year. This is just one. I don't think that we can indict the whole team off of one game. The only problem is it's also a continuation off of what we saw from them last year, where they struggled
Absolutely.
because they couldn't quite get their mindset right, and they couldn't quite turn the corner when they needed to. And I thought, I disagree with you, though, on the Pat Bev point, is I think Pat Beverly is that guy who normally won't allow you to do that. He is that guy who has that pride and that intensity that'll get guys locked in this moment. But because we know Kawhi is not it, and we know Paul George is not it.
Well, first of all, Dominic, let me tell you why I disagree to that point. Is because although Pat Bev is a rah-rah type guy, his play still don't shows up and back it up. Not only if you're going to be a rah-rah type guy and a guy that try to hold people accountable, but your play has to back it up. We all know Rondo is a guy that not only is he bring guys together and hold guys accountable, but he's also going to elevate his game. It's a reason that you call them playoff Rondo. And to your point is, it's about their mental toughness. What's going to happen in the playoffs again? What if you get down 20? Are you going to have these mental lapses again where you can't fight back? This is a problem. And like I said, it's a long season. Teams are going to lose games. The Lakers are going to lose. The Nets lost last night. But it ain't what you do, it's how you do it, and it's the fashion that they lost. You was down 50, and then you end up losing by 51. So that means in the second half, you didn't come out with the right mindset to say, you know what, we about to go out swinging. We not going to go out like this. I would have accepted it more if they would have went down and been maybe lost by 30 or 25, but it just goes to show that if you get out early on the Los Angeles Clippers, that you got them right where you want it. And then, on top of that, the beef, all the animosity that they had with the Dallas Mavericks throughout their series, you would think that they would come out and fight back, not just get punched in the mouth and say, you know what, it's over, I'm going to tap out. Nah, you got to throw a couple jabs and a couple uppercuts and show you that, hey, I'm ready to swing and ready to battle, but that's where the leadership come in. And Kawhi might be the best player in the league if he mean that much.
My pushback would normally be in this situation that it's just a regular season game, but the problem is they tried to be a hit-the-switch team last year, and they could never hit that switch. So to me, it sounds like, and I don't have the basketball expertise to go out there and say this, but it sounds like what you're saying is they can't win a championship with a team as it's currently constructed, because if they weren't mentally tough last year, they didn't bring in the guys to make them any mentally tougher, unless you think Ty Lue over the course of the season is going to turn them into some sort of tough guys or mentally strong guys that they weren't at the beginning of the season. It sounds like without some sort of trade or without somebody turning into somebody they can't be, they aren't a real title contender if they aren't any tougher mentally than they were last year.
And I'm with that, and I agree, and I actually believe that. I know you probably was watching a lot of football yesterday because they had football games on, but I actually watched the game yesterday. And Ty Lue is a coach that he never shows emotions during the game. He show all his emotions at practice and in film session. And I seen him up and down that sideline trying to get that team going. He's doing his part, but you got to have that on the court. And like Paul George, what you mean we wasn't ready? Like, okay, the first half, y'all got punched in the mouth. Second half, you got to come back and be ready in some standpoint. Yeah. Not to get smoked by 50. I don't care what nobody says.
I just wish he didn't say it, because I think in that situation, and it's true across all sports, that intensity matters. I just wish he would have said, like, he didn't say that it's just one game. I wish he would have said, we lost, we got our butts kicked, it's unacceptable, we're going to address that. Like, it's a small thing, but to me, it shows a different level of accountability than saying, it happens, it's just one game. He's right about it, but I hate to hear that from the leaders on the team in that type of situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ryan, I'm pretty sure the Packers are already checking that long-term weather report, because according to ESPN's FBI, they have an 80% chance to clinch the NFC, and you know they are hoping that weather is vicious. All right, against the Eagles, and the Cowboys will have the Giants. Dan, who do you think is going to win the NFC East?
If Alex Smith is healthy, I'm going to take the Washington football team. Because I'm a hopeless romantic, because I cry when I watch movies, because I'm an emotional guy and I want that story. That's why.
We like that.
When I watch Armageddon and Bruce Willis is having that interaction, I'll cry. That's how I'm wired. So I want the story with Alex Smith winning that division. Listen, here's the thing. The only reason that they have this must-win game in this weekend against Philly is because Dwayne Haskins did not take advantage of his opportunity, because he was childish with his behavior and didn't play good enough against two football teams that team could have beaten because their defense was solid enough. So if Alex Smith is healthy, I trust in his veteran experience. I trust that he'll do the right things with the football, get the football to guys like Antonio Gibson. I need Terry McLaurin to be healthy as well, but I believe that he's built to go play one really good football game against the defense in Philadelphia that's beat up. Charlie, the really interesting thing is that Cowboys fans need to become incredibly big Eagles fans. That's the reality. Like, the Cowboys have to win, but then they have to become huge Eagles fans and hope that they beat the Washington football team to get in. So the Cowboys are fooling themselves to thinking that they're good. The Eagles needed to lose for them to have a reality check. The Giants, Daniel Jones' health and performance has been so up and down. I trust the steady hand of Alex Smith and the Washington football team winning.
Yeah, well, I think that if you like to cry during movies, then this is your perfect division, because this is the emo division of all of football. It's very Drake-like. Sometimes you laugh at them, sometimes you cry, but you know now, baby, that division is pathetic. I'm going to pick the Cowboys, I guess, because who knows? They got the most talented, their most exciting players in their receiving core. They got some players on defense, even though we've discussed this before. I said on Get Up several times that their defense stinks like earring backs, which is, whew, if you don't know, man, that is a problem. They can't play well on both sides of the ball, on either side of the ball. So I do think that I'm criticizing them, but I'm picking them to win because I don't have much faith in anybody else. The quarterback situation in Washington is bad. Because you have one quarterback who's kind of playing on one leg and another quarterback who doesn't seem to have it, who by all accounts and all things that he's shown, it feels like a bust in the league right now. Maybe something else will happen, but it's hard to root for them. And the Eagles situation, they're just too far out of it. This situation is bad for the entire division. Who knows? They're in a competition to see who can get embarrassed in the playoffs, but I guess you get that 1 week of playoff checks. That's what you're playing for. Getting that one more week of checks to get in the playoffs so you can go lose to another team in a real division somewhere.
Yeah, man. I mean, you boys did a good job, man. You boys did a good job trying. I think Dan talking about his emo stories. And listen, I cried the other night. Me and my daughters watched The Fault in Our Stars, and I already saw it before. And I knew exactly what was going to happen to Augustus, and I still cried. But that's how I feel when I watch the Dallas Cowboys, or when I watch the Eagles, or when I watch Washington, or when I watch New York. Like, I feel that way. Like, I don't even get the good part of the Drake song that Dominique is talking about. You know what I mean? The only part I do get is that we took a trip, now we back on your block, and it's like a ghost town. Baby, like, that's what the NFC East is. It's a ghost town. It's devoid of good football teams. And so, you know, Dan is picking off of emotion. Dominique is picking off of recency bias because we actually saw the Dallas Cowboys play good. I don't know. Like, I have absolutely no idea. And what's crazy is, like, we change, right? Every week, because this division is so bad, we change week to week. And this week, the Dallas Cowboys look like the best team because they were the only team that won. And we've had so many weeks of the NFC East where it's the only team that wins, and we suddenly jump on them because no one has wins. And so now, when you think about the Washington football team, you say to yourself, this team, at least at one point, seemed to be built the best for consistency. They can rush you up front. They had two talented veteran corners, and they had a quarterback that wasn't turning the ball over and that could lead. They don't have that no more. You don't know if they will have that going into next week. And then when Daniel Jones was healthy, when that defense was playing well, Joe Judge was coaching, you had them competing every week. You said if Daniel Jones and Gallman and Alfred Morris and Deion Lewis can continue this run game, then this team could win. Well, Daniel Jones is hurt. And now he's Daniel Jones with the gimpy leg, like Lil Mo from Home Alone. And so now you don't know about them either. And so when you watch these teams, it's just constant and constant hopelessness, constant and constant sadness. Like, nothing good ever